Welcome to the Civil Services Television Explained series.
The guest that we have today is
Shri Mohan Rao, a civil services specialist, CEO of Excel Academy, Hyderabad.
Let us see what insights he has to share with us on cell biology.
Hi everyone, this is Mohan Rao from Hyderabad. I wish to take a few insights related to the cell biology. Life of any organism starts from a single cell by name zygote. You know how the zygote is going to form, by the process of fertilization. The male and female gametes, that is sperm and egg respectively, they fuse in the process of fertilization and they form the zygote. Zygote in fact is a single cell which is carrying two genomes. Genome is nothing but one set of chromosomes. So two genomes, from where these two genomes are coming up in the zygote, one genome is contributed from the male gamete, that is sperm, another genome is contributed from the female gamete, that is egg. These two genomes, otherwise we can also call this condition as a diploid condition. If one set of chromosomes, as in the case of gamete, it is called haploid condition. Two sets of chromosomes, as in the case of zygote, we call it as diploid condition. Ploid is nothing but it refers to a set of chromosomes. Haplo, that is a single, diplo, that is double. So zygote is basically a single cell which is loaded with two sets of chromosomes where each set is contributed from the respective gametes. So that is how zygote is getting two sets of chromosomes, one each from the male and female gametes. Then zygote, as we know, it is a single cell. The single cell has to undergo repeated divisions, and as a result of repeated divisions it will form the entire organism. Like for example, zygote, to start with a single cell, divides and becomes two cells. Two cells divide to form four, four cells divide to form 8, and so on it multiplies until it produces the entire organism. Let it be very small like mosquito or very big like an elephant or whatever it is. Irrespective of the volume of the animal or volume of the plant or volume of the organism, every sexually reproducing organism starts its life with a single cell, that is zygote. Now, in the process of division, that's what we popularly call it as cell division. Before cell division, we should know about cell cycle. Cell cycle is nothing but basically it is a kind of preparation of the cell for the division. We know whenever one cell divides and produces two cells, both the daughter cells which are newly formed must get the same amount of the genetic material or other cell components equally among the two newly formed cells. So unless the quantity or the contents present in zygote, unless the quantity of each and every component becomes double, it cannot share equally for the two newly formed daughter cells. So therefore, there must be some preparatory stage. This preparatory stage is what we call cell cycle. Cell cycle basically consists of two broad stages. One is interphase, other one is division phase. Interphase, as I said, it is the preparatory phase. It prepares the cell for the division. Once the cell is prepared for the division, it will proceed for the division. Then in interphase, of course, it is also otherwise called resting phase. In fact, it is a misnomer. Interphase, when we call it as a resting phase, it doesn't mean that the cell is taking rest. In fact, it is an intensive biochemical activities are going on in the cell. But still, why we call it as the resting phase? The nucleus, if you examine the nucleus in this particular stage, it appears as if it is taking rest, or no visible changes can be traced. So therefore, it appears as if it is taking rest. In fact, in reality, it is not taking rest. But however, the interphase is otherwise considered as resting phase. On interphase, for the convenience, it can be differentiated into three stages. So that is G1, S and G2. G1 refers to gap 1 or pre-synthesis phase, whereas S refers to synthesis phase. G2 refers to gap 2 or post-synthesis phase. Now let us see what are the events that are going to happen in this G1, S and G2. In G1 or gap 1 phase, the cell tries to pull up various components required for its future division. In the process, RNA, proteins and other cell components, whatever that is required, they multiply in their number. Then coming to S phase, which is the most important stage, S stands for synthesis. So here exactly what is that is going to be synthesized in the S phase? In S phase, basically the DNA duplication occurs. For example, if you take human cell, human diploid cell or the zygote consists of 46 chromosomes. Each chromosome naturally contains only one DNA molecule, that is a general chromosome. Since each chromosome contains one DNA molecule, 46 chromosomes present in the human zygote, they contain 46 DNA molecules. But as we already discussed, when a cell is going to duplicate, it is going to form two cells. Then after the division, each cell invariably must contain again 46 chromosomes each, or otherwise 46 DNAs each. That means a zygote with 46 DNAs, when it wants to divide in future and produces two cells with 46 DNAs each, therefore there is no option, the DNA content must become double. That means the 46 DNA molecules present in the zygote, they must duplicate into 92 DNA molecules. Then these 92 DNA molecules, after completion of the division, again it can be equally shared among the two newly formed daughter cells at the proportion of 46 each. So therefore, duplication of DNA is a must before every cell division. This duplication happens during this S phase of the interphase in cell cycle. Then how the DNA duplication occurs? DNA duplication, or otherwise it's called DNA replication. We know DNA basically is made up of two strands which run anti-parallel to one another. Each DNA molecule, we know it is made up of a sequence of deoxyribonucleotides linked to one another, and two adjacent nucleotides of opposite strands, they are connected by hydrogen bonds. So whenever the DNA duplication or replication occurs, the DNA which is in the form of a helically coiled, double-stranded, right-handed coiled molecule, then during the process of DNA replication, from one side of the DNA molecule, the DNA starts unwinding. When DNA starts unwinding, the two threads, they spread apart. Whenever the two threads of the DNA or two strands of DNA or two polynucleotide strands of DNA, whenever they unwind and they separate, simultaneously the new DNA molecule parallelly forms along with the two strands. So like this, the process of unwinding proceeds from one end to the another end. As the unwinding progresses, simultaneously the new complementary polynucleotide strands will be automatically synthesized according to the sequence of the nucleotides of the template strand. This is how, by the time this unwinding proceeds from one end to the other end, one DNA molecule produces two DNA molecules. So that means a zygote which is initially having a set of 46 DNAs in the 46 chromosomes, now the DNA number wise it becomes double, that is 92. But however, chromosomal number remains same. Or in other words, earlier before S phase, each chromosome is consisting of one DNA, but after duplication, each chromosome is consisting of two DNA molecules. That means after S phase, the condition of the zygote is, it is having 46 chromosomes, but however 92 DNAs. So this is the most important event that occurs during the S phase. Then after S, it is followed by G2. As I mentioned, interphase consists of three stages, G1, S and G2. So post synthesis or post S phase is G2, or otherwise called gap 2. G2 or gap 2 is otherwise called preparatory phase. Why it is called preparatory phase? Again the proteins or the RNA or the cell components like cytoplasm, cell organelles. So all these components, they keep on duplicating, and finally the volume of the cell reaches to that level where it can comfortably divide and share the components equally between the two newly formed cells. So that is what is happening during the interphase. Now to sum up, interphase, of course, it is the longest phase relatively, whereas the division is the shortest phase when you compare these two. In interphase, of course, it contains G1, S and G2. G1 is otherwise called gap 1 or pre-synthesis. S is synthesis, where duplication of DNA occurs. Then G2, otherwise called gap 2 or post-synthesis phase, where all cell components they duplicate and now the cell is prepared for division. Once the cell is prepared for the division, then immediately it enters into the division phase, and in the process of division or at the end of the division, one cell, it becomes two cells. That means, otherwise we can say in cell cycle starts with interphase and ends with division. Starts with interphase and ends with division. Every division must be preceded by interphase. Every division must be preceded by interphase, because as we discussed, every division it needs duplicated DNA or duplicated cell components in order to share equally for the daughter cells. So every division must be preceded by interphase, or in other terms, every interphase is followed by division phase. Every interphase is followed by division phase. That means if you take one cell cycle, it starts with interphase and ends with division. So interphase as well as division put together considered as one cycle. Then the cell may stop the division with this, or it may proceed for next division. Whenever the daughter cell wants to proceed for next division, again this newly formed daughter cell has to undergo the same sequence of events, that is G1S, G2, and then it proceeds for the division. So that means after completion of the division, there is no compulsion that each and every cell must repeat the cycle. It all depends upon the necessity of the organism. If at all the organism wants to expand by volume, it wants to add some more cells, then only it proceeds for division. Sometimes if a cell is transformed into a permanent cell and that is taking up a permanent function without undergoing any division, it need not divide further. If a cell need not divide further, then it need not enter into the interphase. So that means after completion of the division, again repeating the cycle once again, it depends upon the type of organism and type of the activity of the cell. So this is basically what we can consider cell cycle. Thank you.
This was all from
Shri Mohan Rao.
Sir. We thank him for his valuable time and expertise on the topic. The entire discussion has raised few questions which play a vital role in the UPSC upcoming examination. Few of the questions which could be raised out of the entire discussion are given in the description below. To have more such discussion and analysis, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. And if you like the video, please do not forget to hit the like button so that we get inspired to give more such discussions in the coming future.